What's up, tennis fans? Sleepy Picks here. Really excited about the Indian Wells Masters coming up. The draw's going to be released tomorrow, and we will have a reaction and prediction video up right after that. But the first thing I wanted to talk about, and I think this really does affect the play and definitely the picks that we're going to have. And I was thinking about saving this for the reaction video, but I kind of want to talk about it now, just so I feel like the draw reaction video is going to be so long, so I don't want to add any more time to it. So I really want to talk about the new tennis balls that they have here. There's kind of been a little bit of a stir in the tennis world here about the new balls that they're using. So let's take a look at that. Indian Wells has announced that they are switching from the Penn ATP ball to the Dunlop ATP Tour Extra Duty ball. Now, one player in particular, Taylor Fritz, has shown a little bit of concern for this. I'm going to read a direct quote from him just so we can kind of get a sense of where the concerns are. Now, the Dunlop ball is what we play with most on tour, but I also think it plays really slow. It plays slow when it's worn out and they wear out really fast. The quality of the ball has dropped exponentially. At Delray Beach Open, you play 2 games and these balls are expletive balloons. You can't hit a winner to save your life, even if you swing as hard as you possibly can to hit a winner. So this concern is kind of voiced over a lot of different balls. Like I don't think this is just kind of like a sole complaint, because we heard pros complaining the last few years about the Penn ATP ball at Indian Wells doing the same exact thing. Now I think the concern here is just like a lot of times it's just the quality of the ball. Like the ball is just kind of puffing up so much with the spin that these players are hitting with. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is for our picks in general, this means there's going to be a lot more longer rallies. A lot of times these players with these big flashy shots and these big forehands might not be able to hit through the court as much. Last year we saw I believe it was Arthur Fees with that big forehand, and we might not be able to see things like that this year anymore. So I do think this is gonna affect the play. Plus, Indian Wells is one of the slower courts, one of the slower hard court surfaces. So we gotta keep an eye out for that. I would love to hear kind of like from you guys what you think like is the best ball to use, or maybe what you think the best ball is to use for the pros, and what you think the best ball is to use recreationally. For me, like I'm a big fan of the Wilson U.S. Opens. I feel like they play very true, but obviously those balls do get a little bit worn out, and they lose a little bit of air, so the hitting does kind of like hurt after a set of playing with them. But I like when you open a fresh can of them, I really really like those. Looking at these Dunlop balls, I mean, you remember, guys, we did have Medvedev back in Rotterdam complaining and screaming about these Head Tour XT balls and saying that like he couldn't even get like any good bounces, and there's no way to predict of like kind of how the ball was going to move. So this is something that I think the tour is going to have to address at some point. And honestly, I think the easiest fix is probably to just change the balls more frequently. The players are playing with a little bit more aggressive spin. The racket, the technology, you got the string too. Some of these strings are like really biting on the balls now. So you got that with the spin coming off of it. So it might be better to change the balls maybe a few games quicker than normal. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Share the video. I really do think that we're going to get a lot of long rallies here in this tournament, and it might be more than usual. So maybe we got to focus when we're looking at our picks, when we're going through the draw. We got to focus on some of these grinders and people that we know are good fitness freaks, that are going to be able to get through this draw. Because some of these bigger hitters, yeah, like they might get through 1 or 2 matches hitting these huge forehands, but it might not be a good recipe to get through the entire tournament. So definitely got to look at that. Don't forget, we have a video coming out tomorrow night with a reaction to the Indian Wells draw. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to going through all my picks with you guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.